Two people. Let them in. Where are they? Hey, Greg.
You're muted.
Do I unmute him or is he?
You might have muted him.
Wait, there you go.
Hello, I'm Bruce.
Hey, Bruce.
Ed?
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. This is Kim and I'm Ed.
Hi Kim, hi Ed.
Gonna give us, see what we get here.
Okay.
Minutes. Oh, we got more people there.
You might have it set where you mute. They're muted.
All right. I don't use Zoom. I use StreamYard.
I never heard of that one.
Yeah. She uses Zoom all the time. Webster James.
Now, do you want us to mute because the ones I've been on before they do because you get like a reverberation sometimes?
Yeah, once we get rolling, yeah.
Okay.
Hi, guys.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, it's
Good,
Ellen.
how are you?
Okay, now we're getting it. Hi.
Hi there.
Hey, Ellen.
Hello.
I want to make sure nobody's muted. Jackie. We're just going to wait one more minute. I don't want to waste anyone's time. Leah, you there?
I am.
Yes.
Yep.
How are you?
All right. Jackie. Martine. Webster, can you hear us?
Yes, I can, Ed.
Oh, how are you?
Doing great. How are you?
Just for you guys that don't know, well, nobody will know this except for her. Webster used to be my boss in Greenville, North Carolina at WARO. Is that right?
It was ERO.
It was 1,000 years ago.
1,000 years ago. Arrow 93.3.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's where our daughter was born up there.
It sure is.
Wow.
Jackie's there. I always want to make sure. How do you do it so that
Hi.
everybody's on the screen? Is there a way to? It's going where? Oh, I see. I see. How you doing? All right,
Hi.
we're gonna get rolling. Just don't want to leave anybody out.
Who else is-
Yeah, you know, it's free, so people show up and they show up. We're also gonna do it Sunday at noon. If anybody, has things they need to ask about or follow up, and we'll add some stuff then. So you guys feel free to mute, and we're gonna get rolling. Take about 30 minutes, and we have a bunch of different things to show you on the screen of how we got started and the things that we use and and all the mistakes that we made too, so that you guys don't have to make any mistakes at the beginning. So there's also a chat box too. You can type things in. So
Yeah, you can type in questions into the chat box. Because he doesn't use Zoom that much, but there's a raise your hand thing. So, but feel free to.
yeah, we can stop. We can stop along the way, but if you want to mute yourself, go right ahead. All right. So the first thing is obviously you all have some kind of idea. You have some kind of idea. You know what you want to do as a podcast. You know that you're either going to do it as, you're going to speak into the microphone yourself. You're going to be the host, or you're going to have a co-host or something like that. So you have to figure out whether it's going to be yourself, whether it's going to be you and another person, whether it's going to be you and 3 other people, whatever it's going to be. So you need to have the idea. You want to make sure that the idea is compelling. You want to make sure that it's not in a category that has a million other podcasts that you're going to have to try and compete against. You want it to be somewhat unique or somewhat different, unless you're in a category where you think you kick ass and be number 1 in that category, then that's fine too. So go ahead.
Do you guys all have an idea of what you want to podcast about?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so the next thing you want to be thinking about is how long is it going to be? There's no set time to a podcast. The Joe Rogan's podcast, although it's really a YouTube show and a podcast, can go 2.5 hours. There's a history podcast that goes over 3 hours, and there's daily podcasts that are 5 or 10 minutes. So if you decide you're going to go 22 minutes one day and 40 minutes the next day, it doesn't really matter. But you should have some sort of idea in mind whether you're going to do a 30-minute or a 60-minute. We do a 1-hour show every Saturday. and we stick to 1 hour. Sometimes it goes over to 110 or 120, or it never goes under, although she'd like it to go under, but we try and stick to 1 hour because, after that, for what we do, it's really a radio show, and people just kind of, their eyes glaze over because they get bored of what she's saying. So you want to pick the amount of time that you're going to do it. And then how often are you going to do it? We do ours once a week. And the reason we've been able to grow our audience is because we're consistently there at the same time every week. We go Saturday at 9 o'clock. If we throw some other shows in, we'll promote the other shows during the week, but we consistently go Saturday at 9 o'clock. Now, you don't have to do it at the same time, but if you say you're going to drop an episode on Thursday at 4 o'clock, then you better drop an episode at Thursday at 4 o'clock. Otherwise, people that are expecting you to have a new podcast are going to be disappointed that, see, we got somebody else on it. Yeah.
And I think, a lot of podcasts are weekly. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but whatever you pick, go with something that's consistent.
Right. And weekly at the beginning too, you probably want to have 2 or 3 in the can so that you're not now chasing and rushing to get another one out every week. So you want to work into having 2 or 3 ready to go. You only need 1 to start on Apple. But if you have 2 or 3, you'll feel better because then you have 2 or 3 weeks to, figure out what the next topic is going to be or who your next guest is going to be and go from there. But you only need 1 podcast to start with Apple. And we'll get to Apple in a second. So the next thing that you need is a logo. You need a logo that's 1400 by 1400. And that, the size, that's the size that Apple wants. And Apple is the king of podcasts. And if you do anything wrong with Apple, you'll get kicked off Apple. Like explicit without saying it's explicit, or yes, everybody's in there. I put her in. But Apple, pays attention to 1400 by 1400, and there'll be different versions of your logo that you'll need for your hosting company or Facebook or YouTube or things like that. But you need a 1400 by 1400 logo, and you don't need to pay a high-priced art person to do it. We paid somebody at the magazine where I work because he gave us somewhat of a deal on it, and he's a professional. But you can use things like BeFunky or PicMonkey or things like that where you can create it yourself. The one that we got for Beach Talk Radio was one that we paid for. Then I did one for a fitness show, and I did it myself in PicMonkey or, if you have a picture. Now, again, the other thing is make sure you don't just take a picture off the internet or you're really going to get in trouble. Or pick a title that isn't copyrighted by somebody else. I did one for Radio Wink magazine where I worked called Podcasting for Radio Dummies. Well, after I had about 20 of them done, the dummies people found out and I got kicked off Apple. So you just have to be aware. You just have to be aware that you don't pick something that's copyrighted in some way. So once you get the logo, you need a hosting company. So the top hosting companies, are we ready to share the screen? Show me how to share the screen.
Wow. You're talking like a mile a minute.
Okay, so the reason you need a hosting company,
What screen do you want to
I
share?
need to show the websites. Is that it right there?
Well, that's the screen you have there.
The hosting company is where you will upload. I don't know. That's why I asked you to practice this. Anyway.
Sorry, guys. We had it. I don't know where you put it.
All right, we'll just go back to the screen.
All right.
You do that.
That's what you have up. All right, now where's the?
All right, if I put here, can you guys see what that is? Libsyn?
Yes.
Okay, Libsyn is the most popular hosting company. We're friends with them. We don't use them, but I know them from my job. So he showed me what some of the pricing is going to be, and this is the pricing page. Now, the top hosting companies are Libsyn. She's going to disagree with me, but most popular ones from the folks that I know are Libsyn, Blueberry, and that's Blubrry, and Spreaker. Now, we use Spreaker just because Spreaker was the only one that you could do a podcast live, and we were doing it live at the beginning when we went down to the beach to do the show. You don't really need Spreaker because it's live, but we were with it. We didn't change with it. If I had to pick somebody, I'd pick Libsyn because they have more podcasts than anybody else. Now they're also
And they're one of the oldest,
Yeah, they've
and
been
they were
around since
created
like
by
2005.
2004, but yeah, podcasters and they have a lot of people that are involved. But you also have, you mentioned Podbean
Podbean's
and
popular.
Buzzsprout.
Now, yeah, and if you want to get really cheap, you could use SoundCloud. I mean, you can upload it to any of those, and it'll all work. But Libsyn's professional. The customer service is good, and they've been around forever. They're not going to go out of business. And the other thing to keep in mind is you get what you pay for when you get a free service. So just remember that. You know, customer service comes at a price, and these guys are real good at it. So
Well, the other thing is how much you're going to have to upload, because some of them base it on how much you upload. So if you're just starting out, you know, take a look at Buzzsprout and Podbean as well as the other ones.
now I'll show you what the Spreaker site looks like. This is our Spreaker page. This is where after we record, we upload. By the way, this is this one right here is the logo I created myself without cost of anything. I made sure I got the microphone from a free website. Then I just went in there and created that on Funky Monkey or Kick Monkey or one of the monkeys. This is the one that the Beach Talk Radio one is the one that we paid for. We've got 3 or 4 different versions of them, all different sizes, and John or Ken created them for us at work. This is the one I do for Radio Wink. Again, these 2 he created, but that was part of his job because it's a work podcast. Now, the podcasts, once you get into the section where they are, I'll show you. These are all of our episodes right down here. We've done 110 episodes. Every time we do an episode, we upload a new picture. You want to have a different, well, you could use the logo for every single one, but the new picture will help with SEO if you're trying to get downloads and listens. So we add a new picture every time we do a new episode. And inside, is there a way to move that box a little bit so I can pop over to there or no? Know what I'm saying? There's some icons behind there. Oh, you can just move the box? Okay, cool. All right, so if I click on this, where I uploaded it, you see you give it a little headline up there, and down here, there should be a description, but I didn't do my job there. So you put a description in there. Again, that helps with SEO. And then the new picture is here. That's how simple it is when the product is done. We haven't search engine optimization, I think. But I'll show you how to upload it from where we get it. This is the final product. This is after we do the whole podcast and it's ready to upload. It's really that simple. And then we'll come back to this. We'll come back to this because I don't want to get it out of order here. So if I wanted to show Audacity, can you guys see the Audacity screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So Audacity is a free service. Free is always good when you first start. Right now, you haven't spent any money because if you decide to go with Podbean to host your podcast, it's free. If you decide to edit it on Audacity, it's free. Get a microphone. I'll tell you about the microphone in a second. You plug it into the computer, you hit record, and then you just record your podcast right on Audacity, and there you go. It's as simple as that. And then once you stop on Audacity, now you can edit in Audacity. Because let's say you did a lot of ums and ahs, highlight that. Again, I'm doing this at super fast speed because we're trying to squeeze everything in. Then you just take out the ums. You save it. That's a whole podcast. And then you would upload it to Spreaker like that.
And I think that the editing, it is easy, but it does take a lot of time. I mean, it does take a lot of time depending on how much of that you want to get out. Some of it is just conversational. And if you over edit it, and we've done that before, it just
Right.
gets to be a nightmare.
Yeah, if you're a perfectionist, you can spend hours on trying to put words together that don't, and nobody will even notice it on a podcast at the end. So Audacity is free. There are a bunch of other editing services out there. But what I like about Audacity, besides it being free, is you can record right onto there. You could edit right onto there. And then your final product is an MP3. And that's what you need to upload onto the hosting service. Now, if you were doing, let's say you did a Facebook Live interview, you could turn that into a podcast. You don't have to do any editing if you don't want to. You do a Facebook Live video. It's on your Facebook page. It's easy to download it onto your desktop. But the only thing you have to do is convert it from an MP4 to an MP3. And there are millions of free online services where you upload the Facebook Live video, convert it. 5 minutes later, you have an MP3. and you upload it to your site. Or you do the same thing with your. I don't think you can download a YouTube video unless it's yours. But anyway, you can convert any kind of video. You could take video with your phone and send it to yourself and change it and convert it into a podcast. Now, just to tell you about the microphones, because you can't really do a podcast without a microphone. These are called ATR 2100s. ATR 2100. It costs $99 on Amazon. And this is the podcaster's microphone. A lot of podcasters use this microphone, and they love it because it's not too expensive. I mean, Webb, you can go hundreds and hundreds of dollars for great microphones and windscreens and all that kind of stuff, and you don't really need to do that. We have 4 of them now because we do interview style shows, and they work great. And the best part about these microphones is you can plug it into a computer, and it has an XLR, so you can plug it into the Hedgehog.
Well, you gotta put this thing on it.
Yeah, I've got one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do you mean put it on it?
Well, put
Yeah,
the top
so-
on it. Why is the hedgehog?
Oh, it's not really called a Hedgehog. That's her stupid pet name for it. It has one of these things to the top, like it's got a windscreen, but it's fuzzy. So, by the way, this is an H4. Again, this is a podcaster's dream right here because you can record it without any microphones. Look at Webb; he's already got one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had it for a while, Ed. In the studio, well, I've done a lot of voice tracking for radio stations and stuff. So I'm sitting here with a console in front of me
Oh
and
wow,
an RE20 that you're used to.
great. Well, they have H4s and H6s, and you can either do the recording for your show like this, or you can add 2 more microphones on the bottom.
Yep.
It comes with a tripod, so you can lay it down. And these things are great. They pick up sound great. And you know how you record it? SD card on the side. Take the SD card out, put it in your computer, pops right up on your screen. Your MP4, your MP3 is right there. You put it on the desktop, onto Audacity, edit if you want to, or don't edit it if you don't want to, and then you upload it to your
And I
hosting
will
site.
say, I am definitely not the technology wizard in this duo. And I've used that without a problem before. It's portable, it's easy to use. It's all right there, and it fits in seamlessly with the Audacity.
What does the Hedgehog cost?
Okay,
Roughly.
good question. Good question. I have it written down. It's $180 on Amazon.
Hmm.
And by the way, again, you can use your phone, you can get a microphone, you use your computer. So, that might be a big expense at the beginning if you're unsure if you really want to do this. But I mean, if you set aside a $500 budget, then I would say it's going to be a great buy because then you don't need the microphones. Just you have your SD card. I think it came with an SD card, right, Webb? I think it might
Yeah.
have. I don't remember.
Yeah, it came with an SD card.
And it's simple to use. The instructions are easy. The level settings on it, they're great. And so it would be if you know you're going to do it, it'd be a good investment. So by the way, just for some other ways to record, we record some of our shows on StreamYard because StreamYard is like Zoom. I like it better than Zoom, but you can only get up to 6 people. StreamYard is video conferencing that you can push right out to Facebook and YouTube with one click. And you can see the Facebook chat box in the StreamYard box. So while you're doing the show, it's already out on both Facebook and YouTube. It's $20 a month or something like that. And you have the ability to put your logo on it. It has banners you can put on the bottom. It's really simple,
Questions.
super simple to use.
Wrap up the questions. from
People's
other-
questions when they come in, you can put them right on the screen with one click yourself. You don't need a producer in a different studio or anything. It's one click of the mouse. Then when the show's over, it allows you to download the video or the audio. It converts it for you in video or audio. So you don't even have to worry about converting the video. You already have the audio done. You upload it to your hosting service. We really like StreamYard. But there's also Zencaster and Ringer and, of course, Skype and Squadcast. I mean, a simple Google will show many of those sites and people rate them and different things like that. We like StreamYard. I'm not a Zoom fan. She uses Zoom for work. And I've gone round and round with Skype. Skype, there's no service for Skype anymore too. So I tried to avoid that. And I just got so familiar with StreamYard. I use it at work, and we use it for the show because we can't go to the beach anymore, so our guests have to come on like we're doing here. Okay, so let's get
Ed.
back to, yeah.
Got a question for you. Most of what I'm going to be doing is going to be distance, so I'm going to use video. What do you do for guests? How does the audio sound when you're talking to somebody in New York, and
So-
they don't have the USB mic that you have?
Okay, it's all dependent on their Wi-Fi. If they have a computer and decent Wi-Fi, it sounds just like we're talking to each other, like it's better quality than a phone call. If
Okay.
they use the thing with StreamYard Web is that you're sending them a link. They click on the link on their computer. They're not downloading the software like you have to do with Zoom. You're automatically brought into the studio. You see them in the waiting room, and then as soon as you're ready to start, you pop them up there, and the two of you are talking together, and it's crystal clear. It's always going to be at the mercy of the Wi-Fi. If they have a decent laptop and a microphone, they don't need to have a microphone. It'll sound crystal clear, and it has for us. The only time we've had issues is the Wi-Fi.
Well, or someone has to use an iPad. That
Yeah.
has not worked well.
You know, computer to computer is always going to be the best for this kind of stuff. So, there's a free version of StreamYard if you wanted to give it a try. Just call somebody up and see what you think of it. But I mean, my boss and I do Facebook Live interviews Tuesday and Thursday now. We interviewed Mike McVeigh, Webb, and we use StreamYard, and it's so simple to use because you don't have to worry about the Facebook and the YouTube thing either, because it pushes it right out there for you. There's a little integration thing you have to do at the start, but only once. Once you're connected, you never have to connect again because the icons are at the top. So
Yeah.
that's, yep.
Oh, hey, it's Leah.
Hey,
Hi, Kim.
Leah.
Hey,
How you guys doing?
good.
Good. Hey, quick question. So, I've been informed that Zoom, I know, Kim, you like Zoom, but I've heard that it's an awesome platform to do a podcast. You can record, and it's just super simple. So is that at the same level as StreamYard? Is it kind of one or the other, or does one offer certain capabilities over another? Because I personally do like Zoom, and it seems super easy.
Well, I've used it, Zoom, in a work capacity and StreamYard in, the weekend capacity. What I like about StreamYard is that you can put the comments up and you can put a banner across the bottom. Zoom is more, sort of business, it's more meeting-ish. It's not as interactive as StreamYard, but StreamYard only, you have a limited number of people.
Yeah, you can take up to 6 on StreamYard, which for a podcast, I mean, if you have more than 6, you're going to be talking over each other anyway. So
Yeah, well, sure,
Yeah.
but as far as the banner, would you really need a banner for a podcast? Wouldn't that be
No.
more for?
No, if you're going to be doing, if you're going to be using any of that, if you're going to be using any video, it always helps. And I know, we're talking about podcasting, but the added value of video is big.
So not
You
to
don't
get
have to do it, but it just,
Yeah.
it adds to it.
well, yeah, I mean, you want to give them your show every single way that they can watch it or listen to it. It's just going to result in more numbers for you. And
Well,
and-
exactly. And then
yeah.
going to the video, not to go off to the YouTube side, but is that what you're saying as far as if you were to create, because for example, you can have the same content delivered 3 different ways. You can have it via a blog, via a podcast, and via a vlog, which of course is a video on your YouTube channel. So what you're saying is StreamYard would be good
Yard.
for those 2 platforms, both the vlog on YouTube and a podcast.
I would say we're getting a little ahead of the basic stuff, but you should have eventually you should have a YouTube page. You should have a Facebook page. You should have, I don't know so much about Twitter, but you should have all those things. Even if you're just uploading audio to YouTube, at least you have another way for people to listen. Could just be a picture with the audio because it's just a podcast. But you never know how people are going to watch or listen to your show. And most of the podcasts are done on the Apple icon on the phone. or iHeartRadio, Spotify. Spotify's starting to get bigger than it has been because they've been investing a lot of money in podcasting. But most of the people are going to listen on their phone when they're mobile to podcasts, especially when they get more mobile than they have been the last 6 weeks. But you know, you have to build a brand if you're going to do this, so you have to be everywhere. And maybe once in a while, when you're doing a podcast, you might want to do a live YouTube or a YouTube video to help promote your podcast. You do a 30-second, 60-second promo of yourself talking about your podcast. You can do it on YouTube. You can push it out on Facebook, and then you can link to your podcast. All of that helps, but at the beginning, you're really just trying to record and upload if that's, you know, to get things rolling. So Kim brought up something I want to make sure I don't leave out is the website part. You have to have a website because you want all your stuff to be easily found on the website, and I'm trying to talk and look at something at the same time, and that takes too much coordination. Okay, so here's our website. It's called beachtalkradio.com. Of course, we bought the URL, and if you didn't buy the URL yet for your podcast, you should do it right away. Obviously, it's $20 or whatever from GoDaddy or wherever you buy your URLs, but you want to have that. This website costs $19 a month. And it's just the basic, it was built for podcasters. It's radiopublic.com. Again, they have great customer service. It's $15 a month. It's not $19, it's $15 a month. And every time, the greatest thing about Radio Public is every time you upload an episode, it automatically uploads the episode to this website. All 110 episodes. I never have to service the site after they helped me build it, which took 2 hours, because you know what about the show is going to be, you know what the episodes, this is a link to the episodes, where they can listen. These are all the different places people can listen. Always want to have Apple first. I didn't have to drag any of those in. I didn't have to create any of those. It's a shell, but you don't want to spend time in WordPress building a website. It's a waste of time. It's a podcast really with a website. You need to have a website because you want people to be able to go to something. You know, if the name of your show is, you know, IEatWorms.com or I Eat Worms, you know, I mean, where are you going to send them to go see your show? You have to have something like that. And of course, you always want to have this. And that helps a lot because that's how you'll make your money back. And I just want to be clear, we didn't make a lot of money at the beginning. And we subtly ask for donations for the show now when we think that we're getting a lot of interest in a particular show that we do. And we've been interviewing the mayor a lot because of all the stuff going down here on the beach. And so I sent it out once last week, and we got $500 from the listeners in donations. So that was helpful. But we also
you tried to do the
I tried Patreon, and I tried to hide content where people had to pay $5 a month for it, and it's too much work for too little result, and people don't want.
Well, they didn't want to do it for that. I know other podcasts other formats where that really works, where they've built a real
And it might work for you.
following, and people will pay. They'll do a brief interview, that's free. And then if you want the extended interview, you're paying the $5 a month to get that added value. And it just depends, you know, I think that gets back to the format under which you choose. Different ways to monetize are going to be of benefit, you know, to you, whether it's a sponsorship, whether it's the donation, whether it's Patreon with added value there, or what else have we done?
I tried 2 or 3 different
Ads.
ways. Yeah,
The ads are kind of.
We get paid $150 per show every Saturday because we go down to the beach and we do the show at a restaurant on the beach, and he's had us there for 18 months now. Well, till 6 weeks ago. And then after it started to catch on, I would go out and put my sales hat on and go out to the local advertisers. And we had 4 advertisers that were paying to, you know, which makes it worthwhile when people support you like that. And then every once in a while, you know, we get people that support us that way. But at the beginning, it wasn't like that. And so,
And he paid us, you know, he's a restaurant guy, so he doesn't, you know, this isn't his thing necessarily, but he put it under as entertainment.
Right,
So
like one of his bands would be.
mhm.
Okay, so let's get back to what happened to. I have to make sure I explain the Apple part because you guys.
We have to.
Where'd the Apple thing go?
Hey, guys, I have a question.
Shoot.
Well, can you explain why you need a hosting company?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like my first time ever
worries.
discussing podcasts.
Okay, so good question though. So when you record a podcast, how are you going to get it out to the public? And the only way that you can do that is by putting it somewhere, and that's what the hosting company is. The hosting company takes up your audio and it sits on whatever server they have so that they will push it out to the other way people listen. Otherwise,
Okay.
there'd be no way for people to get on their phone to hit Apple or Spotify or something. What happens is that's how it gets out. Like Spreaker, once I upload it to them, it's automatically pushed out to the other Apple and things like that. You have to have it somewhere.
Yeah, it's like if you write a book, a publisher is gonna get it out to the masses. And so that's what the
Okay.
hosting company.
So you upload it to them, and then you don't worry about it anymore, because 5 minutes later or 10 minutes later, it's there.
But you have to upload
But
the
you
first one
can't-
yourself.
You can't upload directly to Apple or directly
Well,
to
let me-
YouTube or
good-
anything.
Yeah,
Well, let me explain the Apple part. Okay, this is very important. iTunes Connect. You have to have an iTunes Connect account. The reason for
Okay.
that is if you went, for example, with Libsyn or Spreaker or Blueberry or Podbean, you could upload your first podcast to any of those hosting companies and they would push it out for you. But then you don't own your content. They own your content. And the reason the hosting companies want to own your content, his content, her content, the more content they have, the more they can sell the network of shows that they have to national advertisers. So you don't want that. You want to own your content, and Apple is where you get your stats. You go into Apple and you can figure out how many downloads, you can figure out how many listens. And so what'll happen is you create an iTunes Connect account, you upload your first podcast only. That's all you have to do.
Okay.
I'm just guessing that everybody has an iTunes Connect account. 428. I'm telling you guys my account now. Close your ears. 7, 2, 1.
Can you hide that?
Okay. I wanted to show you how all the other. It takes 24 hours after you create podcasts. They have to approve it. Apple has to approve all these podcasts. And as you can see over here, see the one they kicked me out of because it was podcasting for Radio Dummies? It took them 9 months to figure it out, but they did. And these are all the other ones that I've had over the years. But the first one, you upload the artwork, you upload your first one. You don't ever have to do it
your
again.
first episode.
That's it. Then you go back to your hosting company and you upload them all from there. Then they will automatically push to Apple, they'll automatically push to iHeart, Spotify, Google Podcasts, because you want to own the content. Every single one after that, you don't have to worry about Apple, just the first time. Now, if you don't want to own your content and you don't care, just go to your hosting company and give them all your stuff because they'll do it for you. But this step is so simple. When you get to become a podcaster where things are just so easy, you don't have to worry about all the basic stuff, you'll regret not doing this because it's important to own your own stuff. So the first one I put up here, and then all the other ones we upload to this site, to Spreaker. Now, if you use Spreaker, and I'm just guessing they're all the same in the different hosting companies, there's on this side here, you'll see this distribution. This is how simple they make it for you. You want to add it to Spotify? Yes. You want to add it to iHeart? Yes. You want to add it to Google? Yes. All of these are all podcast apps. And some of them, don't get a lot of listens, but if they get 10 listens, then 10 listens is better than 0. So obviously you'll check. I never check Deezer or Podcast Addict or Podchaser, but Spotify, iHeart, Google, you want all of those to be in your arsenal there. So
Right.
after Apple, the first time, the rest of them are automatic. They automatically push out, so you don't have to worry about it. So you upload.
Yeah.
So it's really just your recording and your uploading and your picture. If you want a new picture.
Ed, quick question. Do you just need one host or should you
That's it.
have multiple hosts?
One
or would
host.
it
No, one
just
host.
one host?
One
So
host.
you're saying, so basically you're saying Spreaker, you've got, would you say Libsyn, Spreaker,
Spreaker, Blueberry, Podbean.
Blueberry? What, and you like Spreaker the best? Like what
No.
have you had? No?
I like Spreaker
Libsyn.
fine. but I would have, the only reason I went with Spreaker is because it had a chance to go live like a radio station. And I don't want to edit. I don't want to waste time editing. I just wanted it to be out there because it really was a radio show more than a podcast. So that's why I chose them. And, but I'd go with Libsyn right now. If I was starting today, I'd go with Libsyn.
Okay, great.
We cover everything so far. And don't forget, we're doing this again with, if you have any questions on Sunday at noon, of course, you can email or
So really,
question. We picked the free version of Zoom, so we only have 40 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes left.
oh, okay. So really it's, do your artwork, get your website, get your distribution. And I mean, I already have all the recording gear.
Get the equipment,
Yeah.
yeah.
And do a test podcast. Do one. I mean,
Okay.
get the mic out. You know, sometimes the hardest thing is like prep is, we spend a lot of time on prep during the week. She spends no time on prep. It's like you're lining up guests, you're trying to read a professional intro, got
Something-
questions for the guests.
Ed, some things never change. She's always worked harder than you do.
He does a lot of the setting up, but like a lot of our show is a mixed variety
Yeah.
format. So it's interview, but it's educational. And so when it comes to the educational stuff, I make sure when I'm talking to someone who's doctorate level educated in environmental studies, that I'm not going to sound like an idiot like he would asking
I know.
silly questions.
It's an
So-
awesome show. I can tell you. I listen every single week. It's an outstanding show. You guys should tune
You do-
in.
yeah,
Talk
I
radio.
watch it every once in a while from North
Great.
Carolina. So, I mean, you guys do a great job with it.
Thanks. Yeah. So, I mean, I would say have an outline. Yeah, we're done sharing, but if you have any other questions, have an outline for your show, practice it. And the thing that's most important, I think, is just get into the content at the beginning. The worst podcasts to listen to are the ones that say, is this mic on? Is this mic on? Oh, I was just in the bathroom and I'm sorry I'm late. Or, I mean, they're not getting into the content. They're coming to the show because they want to hear you. They want to hear what your topic is. They don't want to hear the jibber jabber of the nonsense at the beginning. Just get right into it.
And if you have a guest on, if you're doing an interview style, you know, it's nice to have a little intro, but I listened to the Queen, Oprah, the other day, and the intro was so long. I was like, click. So, you know, just keep, people's attention span is limited, and they have a lot of choices. So the more you can make your podcast unique and niche or niche, depending on how you pronounce it, the better off you're going to be. And that's also where you're going to, you know, when you can monetize your podcast, when you have that small group of people that are really vested in what you're talking about, then you pull in those specific sponsors, whether it's for gear or equipment or whatever, that's gold to people. I mean, they listen. They listen.
When you record your first one, don't ask your friends and family what they think, because they will love it, and that doesn't help. You want to send it to people that, you know, that will be honest with you. You want to send it maybe to people that are your friends or used to be your
I'm
friends.
afraid to send anything to Ed.
No, but you know, you want serious feedback so you can make it better. That's
Yeah.
all. You want people to give you an honest opinion, and nobody wants, and their family wants, you know, get feelings. So, any other questions?
No, this was all very informative. It was really great.
Go ahead.
Should we tune in on Sunday again? Is it going to be a repeat, or are we going to go over the
I
same
think we're going to
ground?
go over the same kind of stuff. So if anyone has any like questions that are different, just email me or call me. This way you don't have to sit through another 40 minutes of her nonsense. You can just, I can
But
just
you're
answer your
certainly
questions.
welcome to join.
Yeah, so it'll
Thanks,
be
Ed.
Sunday
Thanks,
at
Kim.
noon, or I have all your emails. I'll just put my phone number and email on there. And if you have anything you want to talk about, have at it.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Terrific. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Have a great weekend. I'll listen to you guys
Stay safe.
tomorrow. Beach Talk Radio.
Good luck, everybody.
You
Hey,
too. It's good to
bye.
see you.
You too, Webb. Take care.
Take care.
All right.